G'day, Simon here, Explosive Action, and I am back with an OG thrash and heavy metal LP update. So let's get into these 9 records, take a look at them. In the background we are listening to the only full-length album put out by Sydney death thrashers Shackles. This came out in 2009. This was a killer release, the band was great. They did a demo called Coupe de Grace in 2006. Big underground favourites. They toured quite a bit, I think. Yeah, great guys. Ian in the band. Where is he? Ian in the band there. Quite prolific in underground metal bands. He went on to do Convent Guilt, who have also broken up. Shackles broke up. They did this one album. That was it. But really, really ripping black and death thrash, like Aussie flavoured Toxic Holocaust. I mean, it's that kind of thing. Bands like Assaulter, that's what you're getting with this stuff. Trader's Gate from Shackles, really good album. Okay, so the first one we're going to take a look at is Axe Witch, Visions of the Past. What a great cover on that one. It's quite minimal, but I really, really enjoy it. It's got a big cobra kind of thing there, and it's craptacular looking Thor over here. Needle. Anyway, enough of the art. 1984, this is the second album from this band, Swedish guys. I've showed their previous album, 1983's Lord of the Flies. I've got that one, I don't know, 4 or 5 months ago. I did show that. Really, really good album. This is just as good, I think. These guys feel like the definition of an also-ran band. I don't think they got that far with their music, and it's a real shame because they're bloody good. They write real melodic riffs, good clean vocals, solid drums, just cool verses, chorus-led songs. Like, it's just solid heavy metal. But you can just tell that we're never going to be a big band, not a stadium band at all. Absolutely not. There's the back. You know, I presume they just plugged along with their established audience, picked up a few people here and there, making good metal in the 80s that wouldn't change the world, but just rock you out. That's the feeling I get with these guys. Obviously, I'm approaching it from, you know, a modern lens. I wasn't there when these guys were doing their thing, but I just get that impression they were second-tier band, and that's just where they stayed. You know, a band like Raven or something, like, it's just they never got big, which is a real shame. You know, but yeah, so it's good stuff. Side B particularly has a track called Heading for a Storm, which was worrying. It started a bit ballady, got me a bit worried for a second there, but just like Fade to Black from Metallica, it just gets more involved and ends up being the longest song on the album, and probably the most rewarding actually after all that. It's just good hooks and good melody and just good Swedish heavy metal. Yeah, in 1985 they made a third album. I've not heard this one. It's their final one, called Hooked on High Heels, and it's got a terrible cover and a pretty bad name. So I don't know if I should bother checking it out. You know, let me know and I will. But man, it's a terrible cover and hideous name. Might have gone a bit glam. Maybe that's the problem with this band. Maybe that's why they died. I don't know. But they did reform only last year and did a brand new album. Haven't heard that one either. So if you've heard new Axe Witch, let me know what it's like. It was kind of surprising. But anyway, yeah, this is the Roadrunner press. Came out in 84. Original 84 press. There's the band. Look at that. Woof. It's got... Damn. Whew. Bunch of Swedish hotties. Oh my god, look at that. Just outstanding. There's a fan club you could write to in Sweden. I'm sure you will not get a reply anymore. And yeah, obviously just a black LP, nothing too exciting on Roadrunner. So yeah, Axe Witch, Visions of the Past. Second album, really quite a good one. The next one is a really prime example of what thrash was getting to be in the 90s. Bang on 1990, we had Mesro, or Mesrau, I'm not too sure. Then Came the Killing, 1990. I mean, you know, 80s thrash was ripping, or it was evil, or it was ugly. When you started to get to the 90s, and, you know, thrash was not as king anymore. We were getting into more death metal. We were getting into grunge territory, all that kind of stuff. Thrash was on its way out, it's got to be said. Bands that did keep going, or bands like Mesro that just started, had a demo and then did their only full length in like the 90s. It was an uphill battle, but you know, the kind of stuff that most of those bands put out was more in that mid-pace, chugging thrash sound. I mean, it's focusing on head-banging grooves, not how fast they can play. That's exactly what Mesro do. Surprisingly, they're from Sweden. They sound completely American. It sounds like, you know, the Testament influence is obvious. But when I thought about it, it's actually like Zentrix, their version of Testament. That's what Mesro's doing here. It's more Zentrix sounding, which, you know, Sweden's geographically closer to the UK. Maybe that's what happened. I don't know. Also hear a bit of like Evil Dead, Defiance, that kind of tier thrash. That's what you get here with this band. Whiplash's third album, there's some comparisons. I think they're all pretty good ones. Real solid riffs on this. It's just verse chorus structures, sporadic gang shouts, a solo or two. Standard kind of early 90s thrash. There's the band there. Solid blue denim, solid black jackets, all bleach blonde hair. It's the Swedish look, man. It really is. One of the Metal Archives reviews labels this as reliable and satisfying. I like that. It is that kind of album you listen to and go, that's a reliable thrash album. It's not going to blow you away. It's just solid, mid-pace thrash. You get what you expect from a 1990 thrash band. It's exactly what you get. If you like that sound, you're going to like this, absolutely. And this is the kind of thing now that I'm enjoying in hindsight. I wouldn't have paid attention to this kind of band in the time, but you know, in the last few years I've really been getting into more obscure thrash, lesser known thrash, lesser known heavy metal, speed metal, that kind of stuff. This is just right in my palette right now, this kind of stuff. So good buddy Extra the Mutilator, who's better known on YouTube for doing movie videos, but he does like his thrash. He put me onto this one, so props to him, thanks very much. And a bit of a running gag, he often recommends me something and then 3 days later I find it. It is exactly what happened. Found it on Discogs, 3 days later, local Australian seller. I had it within a week of him recommending it. This just keeps happening. So anyway, recommend me more stuff because then I'll find it tomorrow. Mesro, then came The Killing. You can sort of hear why it's a one and done band, because that 1990 style thrash, it doesn't stand out that much, particularly amongst their peers, like the bands like Defiance and that kind of thing. It just doesn't stand out. They weren't going to that next level that the bigger bands were starting to do. They either went the Metallica route, or they went really technical or something. Like it's right down the middle here, this stuff. So anyway, I think it's really good. It's just middle of the road thrash, and sometimes that's what you want. Active Records press. Take a look inside. Get a inner sleeve dealie, lyrics, another band photo, and yes, out on Active Records, just on black, of course. So yeah, Mesro, then came The Killing. If you've heard all the thrash that there is, you still want to hear more, give these guys a go. So last weekend, a week ago, I went to a local record fair. Seriously local, like within 15 minutes drive of my house. And I was expecting not much, and as soon as I walked in the door there, it was a tiny little hall, and I really expected not much. Did the rounds really quick, actually found 4 things. 3 of them are old school, that's what I'm showing here. In my next update, the death metal, black metal one, I'll show another one there. But the 3 that I got here that are on the OG side, the first one is, this is called Not Us. There's a hyphen in there, Not Us. Think What You Want. And look at that. I mean, you look at it and you go, man, that's going to be some kind of crossover hardcore punk thing. Yes, but really, have you ever wondered what Autopsy's Mental Funeral would sound like if it was played by a crossover thrash band that listened to Repulsion and DRI? Probably this. And then, get Wild Rags to put it out. That's this thing. It's exactly what this is. Sub 20 minutes long. It's like 17, 18 minutes or something. It's really, really short. Yeah, and out on Wild Rags, like I said, 1989. Love all this sketchy, simple, like all the Wild Rags stuff all looked the same on the back. They just had such basic layouts. But I love them so much. Look at that skull. It's got a rat. He's playing guitar. It's amazing. Anyway, what you get here, short, sloppy, but good. 2 minute maximum length tracks. It's got that's that punk side of it. With the exception, side B track on here called Contribute. That one pushes 4 whole minutes and is actually the most punky of all the songs despite its length. It's actually very punky. The earlier tracks on here, that's where the autopsy stuff is. And that's what really got me with this. You look at this and go, nah, you're not going to get anything approaching death metal. And it's kind of hard to say it's very death metal. It's as death metal as autopsy was on their first couple of albums when it was so heavily still, thrashy, just ugly. Yep, that's where Not Us was going, I think. Plus all those other influences I mentioned, particularly the crossover stuff, DRI, that kind of thing. Whenever there's the Toxic Barrels on a cover, it's guaranteed to have crossover in it. I think it's a law. Pretty sure it's a law. They have to have these barrels. But anyway, yeah. So I saw this in the markets. I didn't know what the hell it was. Picked it up. I'm on a group chat with a bunch of other YouTubers. Eric Bauer was the first to answer the call. I took a photo of this one. I said, "What the hell is this? Do I want to know about it?" He said, and I like this. He described it as Wild Rags nonsense. Yep, it's exactly what it is. It is Wild Rags nonsense. But that's not a bad thing. I think this is actually quite an enjoyable release. It's an accurate description, but it knows what it is. It's just, yep, it does that on the cover. Like, it's crossover-y thrash, but there's your autopsy gore. Just a short collection of just mixed up, punky, metal-y tracks that goes by, it just goes by so fast, you don't even need to maintain any focus. It's just in and out. It's like an EP, basically. So, I mean, yeah, I'd give it a thumbs up. It's unexpected, short, fun, a little bit weird, a little bit deathy, a little bit thrashy, a little bit punky. Yeah, there you go. The guitarist Scott Openhagen, hopefully I'm saying that right, also known as Scott Natas, Satan, he played guitar, apparently, I believe the Oracle, he played guitar for Master in 1983, before they did any albums. So if that's accurate, there's an interesting connection. So yeah, Not Us. We'll take a look quickly inside. As I said, it's Wild Rags. Do get a few things. Is that it? There we go. A little bit stuck. We get Wild Rags Records presents a bunch of other bands in here. There's Your Blood Come, and the Wild Rag, the magazine. That would have been fun to get. And take a look at, I get the bigger version, and then some lyrics on the back, and of course the LP, simple black, Wild Rags. So yeah, this was pretty cheap, and it was a very odd thing to find in a market. Wild Rags, crossover-y, deathy, punky, thrashy thing. So I'm happy to pick it up. Not Us. Think what you want. The second one I picked up from the markets, this was a nice find. Certainly wasn't looking for it at all, didn't even know it really existed. This is Acrofet with Faded Glory from 1988. Again, a kind of craptacular cover. Simplistic, but it got me to pick it up amongst all of the AC/DC and general butt rock that I was finding. It stood out, I picked it up. Wisconsin Thrash from 88. Their second and their last album. Now, their first one I'd seen the cover around before online. It was available for sale a few times. I never picked it up. But this one I saw. I put my headphones on while I was going through the racks, just give it a bit of a listen. And I thought it was really, really interesting. So yeah, pick this up. You can definitely hear the hardcore influence in this album from the opening bars. It's got that tough guy shouty vocal style. The drums sort of have that bounce, that non-standard direct thrash sort of bounce that hardcore crossover stuff kind of gets. You know that sound when you hear it. It's definitely got some of that. But that goes away and the thrash ferocity just kicks in, and then you get like a Bay Area kind of sound. So, they're kind of a mix of things going on here. Well produced, solid, meaty sound. Great tom rolls. Love good tom rolls. I've said it before. You don't hear it enough. Good tom rolls on this one. Somewhere between Sacred Reich on one end, Dark Angel on the other, Acrofet right there in the middle. Lots of mid-paced, groovy thrash. It's got moments of faster-paced stuff, which is good. Innocent Blood on side B here. That's probably the fastest track on the whole album. That one was really good. And it has that very punky trope of playing like a bass lick. Like I've always just called that the Forenzel Rom sound, but that's obviously just my Australian ears, where it just stops. All you get is that bass thing. Happens a bit on this album. No guitars, no drums, just the bass thing. And it's just fun, really energetic thrash. It's not pizza party thrash, but it's certainly not evil thrash. It's just fun, energetic. Really enjoyed it. There's the band. I'll go back and check out that first album now, because I remember I saw the covers before, listened to it, didn't grab me. Maybe it will now after hearing the second one. So this came out on Triple X Records. Nothing exciting there. Oh yes, there is. It's stuck on the inside. Oh my god, look at that. Just chick magnet. Look at that stuff. Wow. He couldn't put his head back any further if he tried. Outstanding. Love a good crappy photo. There's the lyrics. You can't read any of that. Very small. And quickly take a look. There's the LP. Just Triple X Records. So, yeah. Really good. Really quite enjoyed it. I put this one on again today, just to remind myself how this was different to some of the other things I was showing. And, yeah, really enjoyed it. So, yeah, Acrofet Faded Glory. Good one from 1988. Third and last old school vinyl that I found at that market. This was a pretty cool one to find. Lizzie Borden, Give 'Em the Axe, 1984 EP. Now, I've seen this logo around before. I hadn't really paid attention to the band. I thought they were pretty much a glam band or a sleaze band or something. Hell, I could be right past this EP. I don't know. I've not really looked into it. But, this is the first EP from a very long-running and still going band. 1984. Still going. Out on Metal Blade. There's some stuff on the back. It's more exciting than the front. The front's a pretty bad cover. 5 years ago, I would not have given anything like this a listen. Wouldn't have given it the time of day. Because it does have a layer of that glam in the sound that I can just about appreciate now. It's not full-on glam. I still can't handle that. That's not me at all. But you can just tell it's just a bit in there. Just around the surface, it's just there. It's not a full glam thing whatsoever. It's just heavy metal, horror themed heavy metal. It's Lizzie Borden. I mean, you know the story there. Even the singer on this, he calls himself. Where is the photo? Which one's the photo? Oh, is he going in the middle? Yeah, there's Lizzie Borden right there. Danger TNT. But it does have a touch of the leather pants and bigger hair sound, but it is ultimately just a heavy metal EP. It's got 3 original songs. The 4th song is a rainbow cover of Long Live Rock and Roll. I'll get to that in a minute, but the best track on here is the side B opener, No Time to Lose. That's pushing the boundary of it. It's nearly speed metal, and that's why I really, really like it. That's the one that stands out so much. If that's what more of the discography sounds like, I'm really keen to hear it. If their discography sounds more like the Rainbow cover, I'm quite happy to stop here. So, I don't know, you guys let me know what the rest of Lizzie Borden past this EP sounds like, because I've literally never heard it. I've just been making assumptions based on covers and things, which is probably the wrong thing to do, but the cover song's fine, but it's just not what I'm here for. It repeats Long Live Rock and Roll. It just does that over and over, and not good. But yeah, Give 'Em the Axe, Kiss of Death, and No Time to Lose. They're all good, particularly No Time to Lose. So yeah, solid little EP, fine addition to my collection. Happy to have it. And there we go. There's the very bland lyric sheet, one-sided. Nothing too exciting there. And yeah, there you go. And the thing is, as Brendan Von Doom would say, minty fresh, was still in its shrink. Brand new. So there you go. Lizzie Borden, Give 'Em the Axe. Should I get more? Let me know. This next one I just saw on eBay in my usual heavy metal search, and I just love the cover, so I had to click it. And then I went and looked it up on YouTube, and I gave it a quick listen. I was pretty blown away with the sound. Really, really happy to find this one. This is Cerebus with Too Late to Pray. This came out in 1986. Kind of cool cover on that one. It's a little bit amateur-y, but it all kind of goes together really well. Your fallen Statue of Liberty, it's all just decaying and that kind of thing. But nice colours, that's why I kind of liked it. US band, heavy metal, sometimes speed metal, probably sort of power metal, early power metal, US power metal. Across all, there's just standard heavy metal kind of stuff for that era, not thrashy at all. And if you like that clean heavy metal sound, that almost the Nawabum stuff, like Satan, that's a good reference. Other bands like Glacier, even maybe Omen. Yeah, Cerebus is sort of on that wavelength, I think. Just that faster stuff, new wave of British heavy metal stuff. If you like the faster, more heavy stuff, yeah, you probably dig this, I think. So this would come solidly recommended. This has really good vocals with a lot of range. So nice, clean vocals, quite soaring. I'm not one to be able to describe clean vocals very well, but I like what I hear on this one. He does a good job. The highlight for me though is the guitar work, absolutely, on this thing. There's a track on here. Take a look at the back. Oh my god, crisp. There's Krenel over here. It's a great haircut. Anyway, there's your singer. There's a track on here. Which one is it? It's called Distant Eyes. This one here, Distant Eyes. Man, listen to that for some delicious riff salad. Absolutely num riff salad. So good. I really dug that one. Some of the later tracks, particularly the B-side stuff, there's a lot of weight and a lot of speed in some of those later tracks. Really, like Rock the House Down. Where's that one? Rock the House Down. That one is probably the least good. That was a more straight up sort of hard rock, heavy metal track. Pretty standard stuff. Not too exciting, but the ones after it, the one after it was a Catch Me If You Can. That's just a speed metal like ripper. That was a real ripper. I really dug that one. And then the fastest track on the album is actually the instrumental that comes after it, called Talk Is Cheap. That's just a full throttle shredding display. That one was killer. Really good. So yeah, it's like I said, it's heavy metal, speed metal, US power metal, all across the gamut, but just really good quality. If you like it with the clean singing, you like guitar being the focus, Too Late to Pray. It's going to be up your alley, I think. Take a look inside. You get lyric sheet, of course. There's the band again. Oh my god, he's blowing kisses at the camera. He's going to eat the camera. He's about to sneeze at the camera, I think. Anyway. What a good band photos today. And LP, nice green label. There it is there. Who is this label? I can't even read that. Should have paid attention. It's some kind of slightly obscure label. Who is this? Oh, it's Renaissance Records. And of course they got a fancy, hooty-tooty looking ye olde font, so I can't read it. Yeah, Renaissance Records put this one out. And really good. So Cerebus, Too Late to Pray, 1986. If you just want some good heavy metal that's getting a little bit speedy, a little bit power metal from the US, check it out. The next one was a real glaring omission in my collection. It's a band that I've seen live about 3 or 4 years ago. I saw them in Sydney for the first time. Thoroughly enjoyed it. Never owned any albums. Didn't buy anything before or after. But now I finally fixed that error. I think a few people will be happy with me for doing so. Voivod, Killing Technology, 1987. There's very little I need to say about this. I think I just, yeah, I never owned any before. Now I do. I mean, yeah, it's the Noise Records press. It's the OG. It's Voivod. I mean, talk a bit about it. Most people, I think, and I'm speaking as a bit of an amateur Voivod fan at this point. They will put Killing Technology in one hand and Dimension Hatros in another hand, which is their favorite. It seems to be between those two. This is the one that came up for me. Happy to pick this one, add it to the collection. So I'm really quite inexperienced with this band, but that they've always been known as that weirder, technical, punky thrash. The riffs are kind of dissonant. They're a very unique band. They're very different to all their contemporaries. You don't compare them to other bands. They stand alone. Voivod stand alone. No one else really sounds like them. Coroner is the closest you're going to get, I suppose, but really, bit of Mekong Delta, sort of, but really Voivod sounds like Voivod. So anyway, there's no point me talking about it. You know what I'm talking about. I finally have it, and cross that off the list of shame. So yeah, we'll just take a quick look at the artifact, as it were. There's the band. So yeah, Noise Records, number 58. What do we get inside? If there was a noise collage, I did not get one. Maybe there wasn't on this one, or maybe I just got unlucky. But there's the old Noise logo. So yeah, I don't know what else to say. It's Voivod and it's Killing Technology, and I finally got it. Here's a long-forgotten Cogumelo non-classic. I spoke before about how I'm enjoying just digging in and finding thrash obscurities from 80s, early 90s, that kind of thing. Not much more screams obscurity than some of the second and third tier Cogumelo bands. Wow, Brazil had it going on. This is Witchhammer. Please soak in this artwork. It is glorious. In a probably terrible way, but man, I love it. I absolutely love this. It is a terrible but amazing piece of art. This band do not take themselves seriously, at least on the first half. It opens with a short, kind of funny blues track, like a dead set, just blues track called Medicine Blues. And that's because there's a bit of a medical theme going on. Look, there's the guys there, predating Impaled by a decade, doing the medicine shtick there. That blues song is just playing your standard blues stuff with this lyric, "He's waking up," just repeated over and over and over. It's actually pretty funny, but then it kicks in to pretty sloppy, disconnected, juvenile, ugly thrash that has a lot of charm. It has a lot of charm. The first time I listened to this very briefly online, because I'm like, ooh, Cogumelo, let's check it out. Oh, God. And it's rough. It is pretty rough. The Metal Archives reviews kind of agree that's sort of around the 50% kind of range. It's not that unfair thing to say. It's pretty amateur hour stuff. But, if you'd like things like MX, another Brazilian band, you're going to find something to like here. Like the inspirations here are clearly the first Exodus album, Nuclear Assault, and obviously Brazilian bands, like MX, Overdose. It's in that kind of thing. But chuggy riffs, when they go fast, it's way beyond their abilities and it falls apart. But it's great. It's really great and fun to hear it just be amateur hour. Really, it's good fun. Like, I know I'm talking it down, but it's a fun album. It is. The solos sound like they're improvised. The vocals, strained, squeaky rasps. Probably dude's first time behind a microphone. And, the production's sort of like Morbid Visions, very rough, but very Cogumelo. Song titles. Lyrics. There's a song on here called Who Is Fat? With a question mark. The lyrics are, who is fat? I'm fat. You are fat. We are fat. It's good to be fat. not at all serious, not at all serious. But side B, once you get past that and you get into side B, it's like they put on their ties or something and just thought, no, come on, all right, put the beers down, let's try this properly. Side B is way superior than side A. It opens this one, Words of Desolation. It's a bit of an instrumental, then Words of Desolation. And then the second one here, Dartherium. They're legitimate rippers. Like they're the most coherent and well-composed songs that these guys did on this album. Really, maybe they walked in on day one and just sort of plugged in their stuff and went, hey, let's do a blues song, and just got through, let's do a song about being fat, and then went to lunch, came back and go, shake off that hangover, now let's plug in the instruments and play properly. It feels like that, it really does. You know, there's no funny business on side B. Maybe some of the lyrics were, I didn't read into them too much, but yeah, it's different stuff, that's for sure. So yeah, it's fun. Either way is fun, but the second half is actually the superior side. So yeah, I mean, this could the second side stuff could fit on as like demos of Beneath the Remains, and when you compare that to what I was saying at the start with stuff that's like Overdose and MX, it's a big change there. So anyway, overall it's fun stuff. It's not at all mandatory in the slightest, but I have a real fondness for this kind of stuff. So. And these real rough Cogumelo bands. So yeah, check it out. Don't go out of your way to if you don't like any of the stuff I just talked about. There's the Cogumelo. But if you like it a bit sloppy and a little bit amateur, you got the lyrics out. Oh my god. Yeah. Outstanding. That's outstanding. There's even a black cat on the windowsill. Yeah, and there's your lyrics. So, yep. And that is Witchhammer. They did a couple more albums, I think. I'm not sure if they're still around. But the Oracle, the archives, the reviews, percentage scores get higher as you go on. So I might check them out, or maybe I'll stay here and sloppy first album and just enjoy the first and the last. Last album I'm going to show is definitely an original press, but it's not in the thrash and it's not in the heavy metal. We're going into grind. I'm very happy to have this. This is Napalm Death with From Enslavement to Obliteration 1988. You all know this one. Absolute. This is the perfect grindcore album. It is the template for so many bands that came after it for the next 10-15 years. They could all be rooted back pretty much to this album. Repulsion on one side and this album on the other side. Just outstanding stuff. This obviously is the follow-on from the very rough but groundbreaking Scum album. It's far superior. The songs in here are far, far better. It's also the last one featuring Lee Dorian on vocals. He went off to do Cathedral, which is chalk and cheese compared to Napalm. And the last one with Bill Steer. He was already in Carcass at this point, so he went on to stay with them. And then the lineup changed. Obviously, after this point, we got Barney Greenway. And that's really the Napalm that I was more familiar with, Harmony Corruption onwards. That's the Napalm I grew up with. So I never actually liked this album too much. It wasn't until maybe, let's say, about 6 or 7 years ago that I really started to appreciate this album a lot more. I had it forever. I've had the CD. I've got this Earache CD that's got Scum and From Enslavement as one big long album, and I never really wanted to play it. Lee's vocals, I like his high screams, but when he's down there doing the growls, it's kind of this boomy, echoey thing, and it took me a long time to get used to it. It's very, very different to any other band, so that put me off, but really come around to both his style and the just the general playing on this thing. The drumming, it is just outstanding. I love the drums on this. Tightest that the band ever were in terms of the drums. So good. But yeah, I've really come around to this album. So what else can I say? Classic artwork as well. There's the band. Outstanding. So good. Not a challenging one to find in first press. They must have made billions of these things. There are in fact 2 Same as Carcass Symphonies of Sickness. They release a regular single sleeve and they release a gatefold. I'm not too sure on the order of the events. Maybe they were same day, one cost £1 more or something. Maybe they were a few months later. Don't really know, but still. There's the, is that lyrics? No, this is the thanks list. My god. There's some lyrics. Yep. So, it's Napalm Death. Whatever. On earache. From enslavement to obliteration. It's downright classic. And that's all I'm going to be showing you. It seems that the music has stopped as well. So, I'm going to stop here. Hope you enjoyed the 9 records I've just shown today. If you did, please like, subscribe. Check out this thing. Check out that thing. I'll see you next time.